Welcome back to Halloween on Christmas 3. I'm Adam J. Today we're going to explore another staple of Hollywood tradition. Remakes that nobody fucking asked for. So many movies are remade every single year as cheap, horrible cash grabs, and we're just sitting here wondering, why? If you're going to remake something that really wasn't that good to begin with, that's one thing. If you're remaking something that was already perfect, I don't know, that's just kind of disgraceful. Case in point, this is where the remake of The Witches comes in. The film stars Octavia Spencer as a grandmother who has experience with witches. When she feels that some might be nearby, she takes her grandson to a hotel where, of course, there is a witch convention being held by the High Witch, played by Anne Hathaway. Her grandson becomes a mouse, some fat kid becomes a mouse, and about an hour and a half of horrendous CGI and really unfunny hijinks later, the movie mercifully just rolls the credits. This remake of The Witches was directed by Robert Zemeckis. You may remember him from movies like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the Back to the Future trilogy, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Allied, and yeah, How the Mighty Have Fallen. I mean, my god, Patty Jenkins with that atrocious Wonder Woman sequel, and now this? What fucking world do I live in? The Witches is one of the worst remakes I have ever seen in any genre. It is a spit in the face to what I consider a classic Roald Dahl adaptation. Now, some defenders of this movie have pointed out, oh well, the ending's actually closer to the book than the original was. Yes, spoiler alert, the boy does remain a fucking mouse at the end. I don't really care about spoiling this movie. I don't want anyone to see this. This is garbage. But what the movie fails to capture is the tragedy of the boy remaining a mouse at the end. That his own grandmother is going to fucking outlive him. This is never addressed because instead of that, we have to have Chris Rock Mouse recruiting a ton of kids to go kill a bunch of witches because, you know, that's what it's all about. Anne Hathaway is clearly hamming up the role as the High Witch, and she was actually a good choice. What ruins her performance is the god-awful CGI they put on her and the rest of the witches. I mean, do me a favor, look at this amazing work done in the original with Angelica Houston. You see? You see what I'm talking about here? Now let's look at this. This doesn't look like a witch. This looks like Heath Ledger's Joker, but fucked the creature from Splice and somehow procreated. Now this is a fucking witch. Whenever I hear the term witch, this is what I automatically think in my head. Well, either that or the Sanderson sisters. It really depends on the mood. But do you see the difference there? Do you see the difference? There was no thought or effort put into how these witches would look. It is the most generic crap you could have possibly done with this. Even the effects for the mice in the original film were fine for what they were. What they give us here is plainly and simply a cartoon. The Witches is a dark book, like most Roald Dahl novels, because, for those who don't know, Roald Dahl fucking hated kids. You think the kids who fell in the chocolate factory got out? No, in the book, they're fucking dead. They fucking died. There is no, oh, I assure you the kids are perfectly fine. No, they fucking died in that. In fact, the only thing in the original movie that Roald Dahl hated was that the kid got turned back to normal at the end. That actually pissed him off. And I actually understand that because that conflicted with his vision. But even that was better than anything this fucking remake gave us. The way they structure the plot in this film is ridiculous. They just sort of go through the motions with it. How the High Witch is defeated really feels like a bad Tom and Jerry cartoon. The only two actors worth it in this movie are really Anne Hathaway and Octavia Spencer. Octavia Spencer really gives her all to this role. Sadly, the script and her character really don't return that favor. And Anne Hathaway is only enjoyable because she's so ridiculously over the top and just loves chewing the scenery. The child actors in this, I know they're trying, but the script doesn't do a damn thing for them. They really come off as very bland and generic, and this is mainly because of just the dialogue they're handed. I am baffled as to how this turned out as bad as it did. You had 2 Oscar-winning leads, a very talented director, and they even had Guillermo del Toro working on the screenplay. I'm sorry, this movie had no excuse to be this bad. The Witches gets an F. It is one of the worst movies I have seen all year. There is no reason to watch this film, just watch the original instead. Trust me, you'll have a much better experience. So did you see The Witches? Did you hate it like I did? Did you actually like it? Please let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more.